I refuse to use my $180,000 for my son's rehab. Willpower is free. Am I the a-hole? My husband and I have been married for 3 years now. I have a daughter, 15 female, and he has a son, 24 male. I am friendly with my stepson, but we're not close. He has a biological mother who is a perfectly fine woman. I'm not here to take the role of his mom. My late husband, my daughter's father, passed away when the daughter was 6 years old. We both contributed to her college fund. My daughter's paternal grandparents have also contributed a large amount. Right now, that fund has about $180,000 in it.
That's a big college fund. She can go anywhere with that.
My daughter is extremely bright, and I'm not just saying that because I'm her mom. I truly believe that she has the capacity to go to an Ivy League school, and her teachers have said that she has that potential as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's awesome.
That's good.
And I don't want any costs holding her back. Our income would be too high to get any meaningful financial aid, and while there are a few merit-based scholarships out there that she will be applying to, we don't want her to put all her eggs in one basket and just hope that she gets it when it's so competitive. My current husband and I have separate finances. He doesn't contribute at all to my daughter's fund. My stepson is struggling with a heroin addiction. He has stolen money, jewelry, heirlooms, and electronics from us for drug money. I understand that an addiction is a disease, and I personally paid for an outpatient detox for him, which was around $1,000, which failed. His father then paid for an outpatient rehab program, which cost $6,500, which also didn't work because he barely showed up. He promised us that he'd do better next time, and he needed another chance, so I split the cost of another $6,500 outpatient rehab program with my husband, which seemed to work during the program, but he relapsed as soon as he got out of it. I have spent so much money, time, and energy, and it hasn't helped at all. My husband and my stepson want to try a 60-day outpatient rehab program, which will cost $30,000.
Ooh, that is steep.
Man, this is a tough situation. I had absolutely no idea where they were supposed to get the money for that, considering the thousands and thousands of dollars that they'd already spent, and the fact that we no longer had anything of value in our house. They want to use my daughter's college fund.
Oh,
which to me is absolutely off limits. I feel like it's completely unfair to punish my daughter for my stepson's addiction, unfair to my late husband and to his parents, but frankly, I don't think spending $30,000 will work. My husband thinks I'm an asshole because I'm prioritizing my daughter's education over his son's life, and he believes that medical needs come first. He then asked my daughter if she would be willing to use $30,000 from her fund to pay for her stepbrother's rehab. And she got very quiet and did not answer. He then got very upset with her and said that she was being selfish. My daughter later told me that she didn't want to give her stepbrother the money, but she felt so guilty, and I'm furious at my husband for emotionally guilt-tripping my daughter like that.
I mean, it's really unfair to the daughter.
Yes.
It's really unfair to the late husband, and it's unfair to the grandfather. Like they put money
for this reason.
And to not honor that reason is to not honor everyone who contributed to that. It sucks. It sucks
a lot.
Exactly. And I could easily see it not working and then going down another rabbit hole.
If you've experienced something similar, if you have any advice that could help anyone that's going through this, we would definitely appreciate that in the comments below.
Yeah. Put your answers in the comments, and let's get into this next story.
Let's do it.
I just told my kids they are inheriting nothing and they're furious. Am I the a-hole?
Listen, as the wise Gary Vee says,
parents,
but also your children. How did we go left so quick?
Let's keep going. My wife and I are both in our mid-40s and work full-time. We have 3 children, 20 female, 17 female, and 11 male. We've both worked hard to get where we are in our careers, and thankfully that means we're able to provide a good life for our kids. We aren't rich, and we don't live beyond our means, but our combined income is $300,000 per year.
There you go.
That's pretty good. Now, here's the thing. If we went the traditional route and saved heavily and worked another 25 years, we could probably retire at a decent age and still leave a sizable inheritance for our kids. The thing is, we don't want that for us or them. We worked hard to get where we are, and we intend to enjoy the rewards of what we have before we're elderly. We also don't want our kids to be counting down the days until we die so they can get our money and never work again. So our plan is to retire about the time our son graduates from high school. We'll have enough money saved up to live comfortably and travel more, and we intend to use all our money, every last bit. We have a rainy day fund, of course, and we fully plan to use as much of our money as possible. They'll get a portion of what we have left once we both die, but they shouldn't expect anything. We've never really brought this up with any of our kids. For one, it's our money and our business. And for another, they never asked. We did, however, explain that we aren't giving them handouts as adults. We'll pay half of whatever their school ends up costing, and that'll be the last major money we ever give them. I recently had a minor health scare, precancerous mole, I'm fine, and the topic came up with our oldest about what our plans are. I explained the money situation, and this really upset her. She accused us of caring more about partying than her and her siblings' well-being. I explained that we'd rather them make their own way in life, like we did, and not wait for a handout. She told her sister, and now they're both upset with my wife and I, not just for the inheritance, but for not telling them sooner. I don't think there was any good reason to do that. It isn't their business what happens to other people's money. Still, I'm open to being wrong about that. So, is OP the a-hole?
It is a kind of this weird perverse incentive where it's like, hey, once I die, you get a load of money.
Yeah.
So
let's
never thought about it like that.
Hey, Daddy-O, have you tried this double greaser Big Mac ever?
Ooh, it's
extra
delicious.
bacon?
I'm sure a lot of people here, we have a lot of parents, a lot of moms that watch this show.
Yeah.
So how are you thinking about
Tell
inheritance
us
for your children?
What your children plan to inherit from you?
Yes.
The exact dollar amounts and how you're telling them about that.
Whoever has the highest amount wins.
Yeah. And donate it to OKOP.
There we go. I like that.
Let's get into this next story.
I inherited all of the money and my brother with a disability gets nothing. I don't want to give him his share. Am I the a-hole?
Not only have you been physically or mentally disabled, you have been financially disabled.
I, 29 male, and my two brothers, Steve, 27, and Harry, 24, recently lost our mother in January, quite unexpectedly, a couple of years after our father passed away. Now, Harry has disabilities and won't ever fully live independently, but he's not entitled to any support, and he'd react badly to it because of his autism. Interesting. Let's see.
So he's autistic and not entitled to support from the government.
But the key thing here is he isn't working and probably never will. My parents, in agreement with my brothers, left me all of the possessions to distribute as I see fit.
Wow. That's a lot of power.
Between me, Steve, and Harry, with the assumption that Harry would benefit from a greater share of the savings that Steve or I pay the rent on the council flat, which is a government subsidized apartment he's received, and other living costs. As a family, we all agreed that this was best, not least as Harry's becoming more independent as time goes on, and maybe one day he will be able to get a job and earn a modest living. Now, sadly, that's not happened before my mom's passing, and now I don't know what to do.
So now it's like whatever the court decides.
I think keeping money back for Harry feels smartest. Steve wants a third of everything now. I've suggested we all take a smaller share, 10% for now, and keep the rest to support Harry. And then if he doesn't need it in the future, then obviously Steve will get his share of the third. I think that's a fantastic idea.
Right.
Steve is not happy and he's calling me an asshole. He won't answer my calls and his friends are blowing up on me. The situation feels unwinnable as I want to support Harry, but I can see Steve's side. I'm thinking maybe I should just give him a third, even if it means I might not end up receiving anything. Am I the a-hole for holding firm? There's one click edit. Edit to clarify. If Harry doesn't need the money, Steve will get his full share of a third of my parents' possession.
Well, when do you decide that he doesn't need the money?
That's a good question. I would assume that OP's parents did this because of Harry's disability.
Yeah.
And they knew that he would probably need some extra support.
Yeah.
But that's a tricky one.
Tricky one. I mean, what would you do? If you were the mom, how would you allow the finances to trickle down to the son? And what would you do with your OP? We would love to know your comments.
Tell us, and we'll see you on the next episode.
See you on the next ep.